Okay guys, in this video I will be responding to one of the worst videos I have seen in a long time. I mean, if the title of the video wasn't obvious enough. So today we will learn how I became a cult leader and how I enjoy laughing at cult victims, all because of playing Cult of the Lamb. Or at least according to these people. The title of the video is Cult of the Lamb problematic? And comes from the Clown Town. And no, that's not me trying to be funny, it's literally their channel name. I mean shit, they're doing my job for me at this point. But let's not assume anything. Let's watch this video together and see if they truly live up to their name.
Everybody, welcome to the Clown Town. I'm Gus.
I'm Val. It's so nice to see you. Thank you so much for being here.
Bruh, is this video aimed towards 5-year-olds? Like, who talks like this? Like, seriously? Or maybe this is just a facade. I guess we'll find out.
If you'd like to leave us a little like, a little comment, a little subby wubby, we'd really appreciate it. We'd love to hear your input.
Hold up. Would you like to hear our input, or do you want us to blindly like and subscribe before even hearing the fucking topic? So, which is it?
Especially because of today's topic, because we are confused.
So I am confusion.
And we really want this to be a discussion.
Now, a discussion would mean you're taking into consideration both sides of the argument. Alright guys, place your bets now. Will they do this?
We are not trying to tell anybody how to feel.
We want our opinions out there so that people can think on it. That's all.
That's fucking hilarious, considering they're literally arguing with people in their comment section and telling them how to feel. Almost like a cult.
We think this is important to talk about, so we're gonna talk about it.
So today we are going to be talking about the brand new game that everybody in the gaming community is raving about. It is called Cult of the Lamb.
So basically, we're gonna describe the game, and as we go, we're just gonna say our opinions.
For all of our sources, we are going to be using some articles that we found.
We are also going to be looking at an interview with one of the game developers, two of the game developers, a lot more information. Without further ado, this is Cult of the Lamb.
What in the actual fuck is that trigger warning? Do people really get that triggered when talking about video games? I mean, I would like to think this is a troll, but it's fucking not.
This is from IGN. Cult of the Lamb puts you in the fluffy hooves of a cult leader, newly resurrected by an imprisoned deity called the One Who Waits. Now it's up to you to free your master by recruiting new followers to the flock, building a base for them to live in, and going on bloody crusades against the otherworldly entities that trapped him.
That loop of gathering supplies, tending to your worshippers, upgrading both your character and your homestead, and then going out to do it again is extremely satisfying.
Like, look at that headshake of disapproval. It's obvious she doesn't even want to consider that this can be anything but an issue. And guess what? It is fun and satisfying, because it's a fucking video game. It's not real. In the same manner, just because I kill a bunch of people in Call of Duty doesn't mean I'm going to go shoot some random pedestrians. This shit really isn't rocket science.
With a charming art style and expressive animations that bring a bit of joy to every ruthless corner of it.
I think that's a part of the problem, because the game style is beautiful. This animation is absolutely stunning.
That I will not deny. The music, I watched a trailer, the music is great. Apparently the gameplay is pretty good. I'm not trying to shit on that, it's just the concept of it. I just think they could have gone in a different direction.
So you literally admit that it's a non-issue. Holy fucking shit, so let me get this straight. If this was done in a more serious art style, but everything stayed exactly the same, it wouldn't be an issue. How the fuck do you not see the problem with that logic? Sounds more like you have an issue with an art style and not whatever the fuck you're about to bitch about.
Because yeah, you're a cult leader.
We should note that this game is rated PG-13. Just know that all those young Andrew Tate loving men with god complexes can get their hands on this game.
And even if it was rated M, those same Andrew Tate loving men with god complexes could still get their hands on the game. Hell, even if it was rated 18+, it wouldn't stop anyone. This is such a fucking null point. I mean shit, look at how many kids are playing games like COD and GTA. The game's rating never stopped anyone who was committed to getting the game.
Is that okay?
Yes, go concede.
Especially knowing that, you can marry your followers, brainwash them, drug them, etc.
Yeah, and guess what? None of it is fucking real. It's a video game. Bruh, I swear to fuck, I'm going to become a broken record by the end of this shit, I already know it.
No matter how you slice and dice it and make it adorable and cute and put it into video game packaging, you're a cult leader.
Putting it in this very digestible, cute packaging diverts you from what it really is, which is you being a cult leader.
I want to smash my head on the fucking desk so hard right now. What it really is a fucking video game. I mean, these are literally the people who are always looking for issues where there aren't any. No one in fucking hell will play Cult of the Lamb and then wake up next morning wanting to form a real cult. How delusional do you have to be?
That is something that cults do as well. They put this fluffy, beautiful wrapping paper on this box of poop that they have, and they're like, here, you think it's gonna be great, and then you get sucked into it, you don't realize what's wrong. I'm talking about cults, I'm not talking about the game.
Then what was the point of that whole comparison? If you're not talking about the game, what the fuck does that have to do with anything? A video game won't make people join a cult unless they already have it in their heads that they will join a cult. And even then, the developers shouldn't have to worry about deranged people who will take the game literally when designing their game, like you're doing right now.
It's just interesting. If they wanted to spread awareness on cults and cult-like things, they could have had you in the POV of a person in a cult that is trying to get out. It's strange that they felt that they needed to get this message across through being a cult leader.
Or maybe the game isn't trying to send any message. Wow, mind blown, I know. Also, you're literally playing as a victim of a cult that has been sacrificed and are now taking revenge against the cult that has it out for you. But I guess that's just not enough for these people.
I really don't like that they're using the word crusade.
Oh, and guess how many there are? Just guess.
4!
I hope they end up having a total of 8 just to spite you.
The fact that in this game you are going to different lands, killing their gods, and then converting the people that were in those lands to your cult, that is colonization. It is starting to smell like Manifest Destiny.
This is literally how you know these two are just pulling shit out of their asses. You're not killing gods of people in foreign lands and then forcefully converting them. You're killing the bishops of the cult that slaughtered your kind and converting the other victims to join your cause. Hell, the bosses literally beg you to spare them and convert them to your cult after you're done whooping their asses. And even if it was about going to foreign lands and forcefully converting every plebeian under the sun, no one would give a shit. It's a video game. It's meant to entertain you. If someone starts a cult because they played Cult of the fucking Lamb, they were already fucked in the head to begin with, and we're going to do it even without ever playing the game. But, you know, if they mentioned that, their whole argument would fall flat on its face even harder.
Starting to?
Video game ethics are obviously a gray moral area, but a lot of the time when it comes to that gray area of video game ethics, usually those things are morally unacceptable to the public at large.
Bro, shut the fuck up. You are not a representative of the public opinion, and the like to dislike ratio on your video proves that.
Are not morally acceptable at large. We have a million people are Scientology alone, and that's one host.
We realize that the Scientology number isn't accurate, but we learned Jehovah's Witness over thousands of years, and cult or cult-like efforts has equaled 7 million humans. Anything there, it comes from a cult group, which has not announced. It's literally in the Supreme Court. There's hundreds of thousands of people who affect by cults and their tactics. Sometimes no one for social confession. Most people would say that for cults. Cults are not socially legally condemned, though it should be. This game also meant vicious creepy capture, to like for crusades, visible lamb, etc. I think we have to keep the church being brainwashing and forced conversion a fun little game.
What they talked about just now regarding cults has absolutely nothing to do with the game. And when it comes to the critique of the Catholic Church, yeah, considering that shit comes from fucking Polygon, I'm not buying that shit. Polygon is literally another one of those game journalism sites that are looking to start shit and look for issues where there are none. And the article they flashed on screen is literally Polygon inserting their own agenda into the game that was never there to begin with.
This is something that still affects a lot of people. Some of the things that you do in the game just feels to be poking fun at the people that are in cults.
Are you fucking kidding me? So by that logic, Minecraft is about making fun of people who died in the wilderness. Like, you can't actually be serious.
Let's read this next section of the IGN article.
Despite the horrible appearance of Cult of the Lamb's largest enemies, many of them will delightfully turn into adorable friends your size upon defeat. Friends who can then be recruited into your cult back home.
You're telling me that you forcibly convert people
By beating them in a fight. You literally get them to the point of death where it's either you die or join my cult.
I mean, look at this amount of virtue signaling. Are we seriously talking about the ethics of beating a boss in a video game? Holy fuck, am I glad these people don't speak for the general populace. But I'm just curious, if we killed the bosses outright, would it make it better?
You realize that happened to indigenous people all across America?
Yeah, and people get shot during wars all the time, so should we ban Call of Duty? What's your fucking point? Like I said numerous fucking times already, it's a virtual entertainment product. It has no real world implications.
Like, it just feels very weird to make that a gameplay plot. For fun? I'm trying not to judge, I just really don't understand.
No shit you don't understand, because you didn't want to understand from the very first article. You want to be riled up over fucking nothing and cannot seem to grasp the idea that entertainment products are meant to entertain and don't need to carry some social fucking commentary.
I don't understand.
I think that's why we're here. We want to
Yeah.
understand.
No you fucking don't. You just want to bitch and look for social issues where there aren't any. If you wanted to understand, you would have gotten it by now.
Can we also talk about the fact that multi-level marketing companies are cults?
They use cult tactics.
Fight model approved. People who have really studied cults, like, they have said the same thing.
So now marketing companies are cults because they want to push you into buying their products. It sounds like the issue is less in cults and the word they're looking for is manipulation. And if that is the case, they might want to be careful when looking in the mirror, considering they've been spreading misinformation about the game in a desperate attempt to manipulate their audience into thinking that people playing these games are some evil cultists or some shit.
So over time, as you build your cult, you can get them to do things. That means things like watering your farms by hand can eventually be handled by your recruits. And more interesting options gradually open up that lend you send followers off on expeditions for resources, or even temporarily turn them into demons that can assist you in battle.
So they die for you.
As if we needed any more proof that these two don't have a single clue as to what the fuck they're talking about. Followers that you turn into demons cannot die, and they return to normal after the crusade. And even if they could die, boo-hoo Crimea River, no one actually gives a fuck.
We haven't even gotten to the sacrifices yet. This next article is going to be from Rock Paper Shotgun.
Cult of the Lamb gets off to a roaring start. You begin life as a lowly lamb awaiting sacrifice at an altar of the old faith before the 4 Eldritch bishops, the big bosses of the game.
Within seconds, you're executed, but then you're brought back from death by a chained, godlike being known as the One Who Waits, who promises life and otherworldly powers in exchange for your servitude. In the span of 2 minutes from starting the game, you've turned from a hapless lamb into an unstoppable servant of death itself, slashing apart old faith cultists like blades of fleshy grass. So many cults use religious tactics to keep people in them, so it's even worse to me that there's a religious aspect.
Religion uses cult tactics sometimes, and then cults use religious tactics sometimes. It's like this weird incestuous relationship.
It's almost like a Venn diagram.
Yeah, and in other news, water is wet, the sky is blue, and entertainment products are for entertainment.
Oh, I'm gonna make one. This just sounds like new religion taking out old religion, like the tagline said, slaughtering them.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Now we are going to get into a cheeky little article called How to Brainwash Followers in Cult of the Lamb.
Hell yeah, more fake outrage, let's fucking go.
From Twinfinite.net? Yeah, we are brainwashing people.
Straight up.
I guess you need mushrooms to do this.
So you have to drug them.
25 mushrooms to do the brainwashing ritual, and it rewards you 100 plus faith. So you basically drug your followers to get them to believe what you say.
No. When you do the brainwashing ritual, it locks their fate for 2 days. You cannot raise it or lower it. Maybe do some research instead of assuming. Crazy concept, I know.
You can read minds, you can sacrifice people, you can put them inside like little fences.
Like solitary confinement?
Yeah, you solitary confinement them and then you keep brainwashing them.
You just block them off from the outside world until they're completely brainwashed?
And if you imprison an innocent follower, you lose fate. Unless you get a perk for that, but still. Still not an ounce of fucking research has been done by these two clowns.
Yep. Something we didn't mention here is that your cult followers literally ask to eat your poop. Yeah.
It's not your poop, it's a bowl of poop in general, but yeah, you can decline that if you don't want them eating literal shit. But you know, there's a 0% chance that this is a joke, according to these people. I mean, are you seriously bitching about a video game not taking itself seriously?
Because they're not poking fun at people who are in cults at all.
Also, if this is meant to punch up at the Catholic Church and not down at its adherents, why this? Why jab at those people?
Jab at fucking who? It's a fucking joke in a game. No one said that it's a jab at real cult members. You are the only ones stupid enough to draw that comparison. Not only that, you literally don't have to be a dick to your followers. You can be a cool cult leader, not feeding your followers shit, not sacrificing them, brainwashing them, or so on. But funny how they ignore all that in favor of pushing this bullshit narrative. Again, very funny how they criticize cults for lying and manipulating, while they do the exact same thing.
Many of whom have histories of forced conversion and colonialism. There's gonna be a lot of silence in this video because I feel like a lot of this speaks for itself.
Here's a bit from an article on Game Rant.
So this part of the article is talking about what can happen when you're dungeon crawling. Being gone for too long will result in cult members dying of starvation, getting sick when poop and dead bodies aren't cleaned up, or leaving if their faith isn't kept high.
It all comes together by requiring players to tend to the individual needs of different followers, even going so far as to complete quests for them.
Of course, cult members can also be sacrificed in a number of ways if their specific needs are getting too much to deal with.
So these cute little cult members of yours are just a means to an end. And not only that, but they can't think for themselves.
Because the second they do, you're just gonna sacrifice them. Or you're gonna put them in solitary confinement until they believe you again. Whatever you fancy.
I mean, you can parrot the same bullshit talking points all you want, it still doesn't change the fact that this is a video game, which is very obviously not meant to be taken seriously. But of course, let's dissect it and look for non-existent social issues so we can get outraged.
This last part is going to be an interview with some of the developers, so we just kind of wanted to see what their thought process was in making this game, and it's also on GameRant.com.
You know, I really love occult stuff and cults. I was probably just watching Midsommar or some stuff like that, and then we kind of started on the cult idea.
All the dots were connecting, and we thought, yeah, it's a unique kind of fantasy that players can experience. They went into this with the mindset of, we are going to make a critique on organized religion, and we are going to do it in the sense of a cult, because cults are just a fantasy that aren't a thing in the real world.
That is a literal fucking straw man. You are putting words into his mouth that he never fucking said. Open your fucking ears and listen.
And I'm sorry, but you love cults. 13% of all North American households have had someone in an MLM.
It's a unique kind of a fantasy, or is it a real thing that's happening right now?
Dude, I'm sorry, cults are not dragons. A lot of people are affected by them. Like, a lot of people are in them, and even more are affected by them because of their family members and their friends.
It just feels like to me, I could never be in a cult, so let me start one in a game. None of you are too smart to not be in a cult.
No one.
You really think that you're smarter than these multi-billion-dollar corporations whose job is built on deception? That's really funny.
Being like, oh, I could never, that's just a fantasy to me, is very degrading to the people that are in cults right now. Because it's not a fantasy for them. It is real fucking life.
That is not what he said, you mouth-breathing Neanderthals. He said he liked the idea of having a video game be set in a cult because it's not something you see in video games often. Being interested in occult stuff and cults doesn't mean you support real cults. You are the only ones who are bringing real world issues into the mix. He never said it was a social commentary on cults or religion. Listen and get it through your thick skulls, or go back to elementary school to learn how to do so. I mean, dude, you're criticizing cults for being liars and manipulators, but how are you any different? You're out here lying through your teeth about what the developer said about the game in order to manipulate people into thinking that he is some deranged cultist. I can't even imagine being this fucking pathetic.
The question for this one is, what are some gameplay elements that might come into play that people aren't expecting? So what should they expect?
I think we're trying to offer a way for you to create your own cult to some extent. We've been trying very hard to give you options of unlocking dark ritualistic sacrifice, or maybe more of a happy, flower powery kind of direction with your cult. But it's difficult because the dark stuff is so much more fun that we kept leaning into the dark stuff because I think that's what's more interesting about this game.
Design your own cult. It's weird to me.
If you want to talk about the dark stuff with cults, it's people dying, it's violence, it's all kinds of atrocities being committed in the name of a charismatic leader and or their god.
To put it in a disarming package that will make it digestible to people makes me mad.
Good. I mean, if them making a video game the way they want to gets you molding, then I have no hope for you.
But certainly, you will unlock rituals, dark rituals that you can perform with or on your cult members. That's a big part of the game. Preaching sermons that help brainwash your followers and teach them certain beliefs. You can teach them either to believe in the afterlife, so when they see a dead body, they're happy, they're no longer sad. Or you can teach them to embrace sacrifice. So when you do sacrifice someone at the beginning of your game, people are going to be upset and kind of, oh, I'm a bit uncomfortable. But once you taught them the belief that sacrifice is the way they want to go, you can pick those two directions.
Bruh, now the mouth is agape. They literally cannot see this shit in any way that isn't 100% serious and 100% social commentary and making fun of cult victims or whatever the fuck. It's beyond pathetic at this point.
Saying that you're performing rituals on your cult implies a lack of consent, and that makes me mad.
And now we are talking about needing consent from virtual video game characters. Do these two actually think that video games are real life and that video game characters are real? Bruh, these two are delusional beyond saving.
Without consent just makes it that much more fucking terrible. Like we talked about earlier, you literally drug your followers when they get angry at you so that you can get more devotion.
Actually, you re-educate them or outright kill them. I don't give a shit either way. It's a fictional video game with fictional characters in a fictional world. It doesn't go any deeper than that, and you digging to find an issue where there is none is absolutely pathetic.
That's not cool.
I think we're good, honestly. If someone can explain it to us, I will listen, but I don't get it. And before you respond to us, think about our reasonings, please.
I did. And I can tell you that they're complete dog shit, but I find it extremely ironic how they were talking about cults presenting themselves as innocent, but they're out here literally acting like Miss Goody Two Shoes 1 and 2. Meanwhile, just a few minutes ago, they were on record pretty much slandering the game's developers by putting words in their mouths implying that they're disgusting human beings. So yeah, sorry not sorry. Cope and Seed, you lowly hypocrites.
Please.
Please, don't just comment and call us haters because we're not trying to hate. We are just trying to start a conversation and really either understand this or help people understand this.
Again, if you wanted to understand it, you already would have. But no, you're now going to sit here and try to deflect criticism after trying to manipulate and rile up people into thinking that this game is something it's not for the past 14 fucking minutes.
Because we've seen a lot of people playing this game, starting up their cults.
I've gotten so many Twitch notifications that are like, join my cult! Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. We really appreciate you. We hope we see you again soon. Make sure you take care of yourselves, do what you need to do, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye!
And back to playing innocent, like holy fuck. If this is not a textbook definition of a manipulator, then I don't know what is. But thankfully we're finally done with this dog shit video. So I guess the moral of the story here is, video games are real life and they are meant to make fun of suffering people, according to these two. Huh, I guess the channel really lives up to its name. But yeah, that's gonna do it for this one. I had to speed up some parts since they talk really slowly when reading articles in particular. But I didn't want to cut anything out, so we get to experience the full capacity of these 300 IQ takes. Be sure to like and subscribe to boost me in the algorithm. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.